Chris, my last question I really got on this one. What did you think of the Enterprise uniform design?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. I like the regular Discovery uniforms better. Even looking at some of the first looks of the uniforms they will be wearing on the Strange New Worlds, with the exception of like the metallic colorations for all the divisions, I definitely like the regular Discovery uniforms better. Obviously, there's some nostalgic factor coming in because you see all the colors you're used to seeing on uniforms, and we get back Command Gold and all that stuff, but I don't know. It's something about the way they're cut that I don't really care for too much. Maybe I actually like the Strange New Trek uniforms worse.
Yeah, I like them better, but they are very reminiscent. They're like somewhere, I don't know, somewhere between pajamas and a Star Trek uniform. And there's something weird about the Strange New Worlds uniforms, but I kind of like them.
I think it's the way the front is put together. It's especially apparent on the females because where some of the pieces of the shirt come together, it definitely accentuates breasts in a weird way. And the men's tops are very similar. I don't know. They're just tailored weird, I think. They're just put together weird. But you're right. That when I first saw them, there was definitely something off about them. But the more I thought about it, that's what I think it is for me.
Just to follow that shape and everything.
Yeah, they just got some weird stuff going on. I have to think that they'll tighten it up as the seasons move on.
You know, there's also, I bet you we're talking about the same lines here, because there's that line that goes like kind of on the chest, but it's not a 90-degree line to the lines running up the body. They're kind of like 110 degrees. And it kind of looks like they maybe like hit the nipple and then kind of come out at that angle from there.
Yeah, it just looks really weird.
So here's the thing. Go look at all the Marvel designed uniforms as well. They all have that line too.
Huh. Yeah, because I guess, I know you shared an article about it on the Facebook group that we have for the show. And I was just looking at those uniforms on, I think, mannequins. So it could be that when I see them on a person, maybe it'll clear a lot of that stuff up for me. But seeing them on a mannequin, just, they look weird.
Yeah, and that can sit weird because, you see something just on a hanger, it never looks quite right. Well, I'm hoping they look good because I like the direction they went with it. I don't know, the Discovery uniforms just look too damn stiff to me.
I didn't get that feeling. That, to me, they are more utilitarian. Like, it seems like you'd be able to move more freely in them. They look comfortable. Again, the only thing that I didn't like is them using a metallic color to denote division instead of like the colors we're used to.
The one thing I don't like that's been done, it's still being done, has been done since the Kelvinverse started, is the repeating patterns in the fabric. I just I get that everything's high def now and you need a little more texture and a little more visual interest. But constantly seeing the Delta or the Command Star or the Engineering E or the planets from the Sciences Division, they're off-putting and they're distracting in a way.
Yeah, the Discovery uniforms don't have that.
They do on the ribs.
Do they?
Yeah, they do on the ribs.
Because I know on the Strange New Worlds uniform, they start on the shoulder and go down the arm. I personally don't mind that. I like the look of it. But I could see where you might dislike that for sure.
Yeah, just for me, they're distracting. Because, you put that uniform on screen, and I'm like, oh, there's the Command Star. And there it is again and again and again and again and again and again. For me, it just kind of, it catches my eye too much and takes me out of the scene. It makes me, here's one of those things. I never like to think about what the director was doing when he shoots a scene, and I never like to look at a costume and wonder what the costume designer was thinking when they designed it.
Well, so that's not unheard of in actual military uniforms. The Navy's previous to now, I don't know what they call them, but utilities or battle dress, I don't know what they call them. They're blue camo. If you look real close in there, the anchor and the USN symbol repeats all over that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's way more subtle than the Star Trek uniform, but yeah, it's all over the place. So the camo's like a blue gray type thing, and then the USN, and then the anchor is like it's real in the background, obviously not in your face because you never noticed it was there. Although I'm sure, I don't know how many Navy uniforms you're looking at, but given that I work for the Navy, I see them all the time. So it's been a lot easier for me to pick that up, but definitely not so much in your face as the Star Trek uniforms, but it's not unheard of in a military uniform, I guess, is what I'm saying.
No, and I can understand that. It just, again, for me, it's distracting. It takes me out. I'm not saying that that's the way everybody feels about it or should feel about it. It's just for me, when I start going, well, what were they thinking when they did that? You know, what was the process there?
Yeah, I hadn't even noticed them. Now, you talking about the Discovery uniform or the Enterprise's uniform in Discovery?
Well, I was talking about the Discovery uniform. The Enterprise one doesn't have them.
Okay, so, you know, you mentioned that they had them in the Discovery uniform, but I'm going to be honest, I never even noticed that at all.
Oh, yeah. On the ribs, they have them in the metallic color.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I just don't like it, so I try not to look at that part. Maybe that's it.
It's just as simple as that, man. Of course, you notice the Discovery has ditched that uniform too, though.
In the later seasons, yeah.
And that was, you know, not to get off track here. They first put them in the gray uniform that has a division color on it. And then I don't know what happened, but like in between the end of that episode and the start of the next season, they're like, no, you know what? Let's just go back to big, bold colors.
Yeah, and I actually like the uniforms they wear in the latest season. I mean, you know what? I still can't get over the Command Red, even though it's been a thing since Next Generation. I do like the Command Gold, man.
Do you know why they did that?
I'm sure Patrick Stewart did not look good in a yellow shirt.
That was it.
It doesn't seem like it would be his color, man.
Yeah, no, that was exactly it. He did not look good in gold, so they're like, no, go to red.
It's yeah, and then they had to well, I guess it wasn't too hard to come up with an in-universe reason for it. We just felt like changing our uniforms.
Oh yeah, well, and that's simple to do because everybody wore red in between the original series and the Next Generation. Just their undershirts changed colors. That movie uniform, everybody wore maroon. So you can just go, yeah, we kept that for the Command and then kind of brought back to the other colors for the other divisions.
But I mean, again, even going back to the real military, when I went to the Air Force, we wore those the standard woodland camos that I'm sure most people are familiar with, the green and black and brown camo uniforms. Even in the short time I was in, we had changed our at least camo uniform, and now they've changed again. So in the last 20 years, at least the Air Force has had 3 different camo uniforms. And actually, if you were deployed in the desert, you had a different one on top of that. You had a desert camo pattern. So I guess changing uniforms is not super out of the ordinary.
I guess they're supposed to be quote-unquote uniforms, so as long as everybody changes at one time. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Those transition periods are weird because you had people walking around in woodland camos and then half the people walking around in the new stuff. It looked weird for a while until the final date where the command was like, okay, everybody's got to have it by this date.
Yeah. Well, it's like back in the 90s when they were doing the things where they had the Next Gen movies were out, Deep Space Nine was still on for a little bit, and Voyager had started. And they were kind of playing with like everybody had their own uniform. But that makes more sense because like if you get approached by a toy company and they say, hey, I want to make a toy based off of this show but not the others. Well, if you only have one uniform, there's no way to differentiate. Because you're going, hey, no, buy the whole license, make something for everything. They're like, no, just the one. Well, this way you can go, okay, well, here's what you got. You can do this look, but not the others.
On the other hand, if you had the same uniform for everything, you just got to change heads to get a bunch of new action figures.
Yeah. No, there's an up and down to all of it. But you got to remember with Paramount / CBS / Viacom, all the companies they've been in the last 40 years, Star Trek was their only merchandiser. That's their only moneymaker when it comes to merchandise. So they really got to watch those like, hey, we really got to be careful about what we allow, what we don't allow.